Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for this summer that we've gotten to spend together. I thank you for what you've revealed to each of us. I thank you for how you are forming each of us to be more like Jesus and sending us each uniquely to fulfill the mission that you have shared with us. And so I pray that tonight would be a celebration of what you've done, but also commissioning for what you will continue to do in and through us. And it's in the name of Jesus that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
What I've given you is called Grove City Vineyard Leadership Opportunities. And this is so exclusive. You've earned this so much that this didn't exist this morning. Uh-huh. So what I've compiled for you is simply a list of needs, opportunities that you might consider that you won't just find on the church website or on the event card, right? These are a step above a simple volunteer, but something, as soon-to-be graduates of servant leadership, you would all be qualified to do. Now, why do I list these all out? I don't list them all out because everyone in this room needs to sign up for one. You don't need to sign up for any of these. You don't need to sign up because if you don't do it, no one will do it, right? God will raise up someone else, and all these things have already been happening. The reason instead why I give it to you is because genuinely, at the end of this journey, and you've invested so much and you've been listening to God, I want to give you the opportunity to actually have influence in the church and actually have ownership and responsibility of ministries. This is something that is not just the pastors are the ministers or the staff people are the ministers. This is something that we all own together. We all have responsibility for. And we are all parts of one body that's better together and can accomplish more when we're all engaged than could any of us on our own. So with that caveat, I'm not going to read all of these. That's why I wrote them out, so that you could read them. But I will at least orient you to the document that I've printed for you so that you can look through it on your own. So I have headings for each subsection that basically tell you what kind of ministry it falls under. So we've got evangelism, discipleship, and then a lot of our like community impact sorts of things, like Jericho's and the nursing home Bible study. On the first page, the first one, purposefully, is the most applicable opportunity that would be an extension of what you've done in this class, which is you just came up with a project on your own and executed it on your own with the people in this class. If that's something that gave you life, if that's something that you feel like God bore fruit through and you'd like to keep developing that particular skill, I would love to work with you. My favorite thing to do is to say yes. When people come with like, hey, I feel God putting this on my heart, I really want to give this a try, I would love to be able to support you and resource you and use the church's network to like find volunteers and make sure people hear about it and all that kind of thing. And so the reason why we practiced the kinds of projects you practiced is because this is the kind of thing we can all be doing, right? I don't think all outreaches at the church need to be centralized and come through a pastor. I think we can all be doing stuff as God puts it on our hearts in the unique contexts that he's put each of us in. So if you feel like that might be something that you'd want to have a further conversation about, that is the outreach leadership team. And if you signed up tonight, you could be team member 1. Again, this stuff didn't exist this morning. Brand new, fresh off the press. Next recruitment is next August. Yeah. Another thing that I'd like you to consider, because no one's heard of it yet, is our church is going to be subscribing to something where anyone within a 2-mile radius of our church who moves in will automatically get an invitation to church with some information about our church. And if they scan the QR code to see what we're all about, we get a little bit of information from them and the opportunity to reach out to them. Hey, welcome to the neighborhood. We're so glad you're here. We see you were interested in our church. Like, is there any questions you have or anything like that? So that's something that there's a lot of people moving in. I don't know if you've noticed, there's some apartments and construction and all kinds of stuff. So that can't happen without a team. So if you would like to be a part of the team, you could, again, be team member 1 tonight.
We were grieving when we moved in.
Yeah?
We had a Baptist pair of, the one was a deacon and the other one was in the church, and they brought us a basket, and then they had literature on, here's the local school district, here's how you register, here's, the power company, the cable company, trash service, all that.
That's really cool.
I used to do that in the neighborhood, go around, and so people would know what day is trash day and how do I find out.
Trash day
really
changes Find My Collection Day is like my most Googled search.
Yes. Especially a holiday.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah, they have a lot of ideas.
It's a great resource because, especially when we had Somalis moving into our neighborhood and they just didn't know even who to talk to.
Yeah.
I would show up and I would pick. Some of them still have it.
Very practical way to love other people. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I hadn't thought of that. Another outreach prayer ministry team. So at any of the outreaches we do, whether we're going to the park or to Jericho's, there's always opportunity for what we call power evangelism around here. Just approaching people saying, hey, this might be weird. Weirdest thing you've heard all day. But I feel God nudging me to offer to pray for you. Is there anything we can pray for you? I think that was something that could absolutely enrich our outreaches. And a lot of outreaches, we have just enough people to get the job done and not enough people to do prayer ministry in that kind of spiritual dimension. And so if that's something that would interest you, you could do that as well. I'm not going to be as long-winded with all of these. Some of them are a little bit more established, but I want you to have the chance to hear some of these. So some of these are labeled administrator, and if it's an administrator role, that means basically it's working with volunteer signups. There'll be spreadsheets, there will be emails, reminders, and follow-ups, and that kind of thing. And someone who happened to be interested in administration could feasibly just gobble them all up, do Jericho's and grocery giveaway and, whatever. But I'm breaking it up for clarity and also just to spread out the responsibility if you feel called to do something like that. And finally, Janet Regal isn't here tonight, but she oversees our Operation Christmas Child shoebox collection. Hundreds of shoeboxes get filled by just our church, and then hundreds more come in from the community. That's a big job, too big for any one person. And so if you'd like to be a part of that team, I know Janet would really appreciate me taking a moment to share that with you. Busy month for that one is November. Collection month is in November. Okay, a home group leader. You're all one more class away from being a home group leader. That's new leader training. It's not 5 classes. It's literally just an hour and a half with me and Pastor Christian. If you would consider being a home group leader, a home group host doesn't lead the group, but has the group in their home. A lot of times it's helpful if those are actually divided responsibilities. Bible study leader. If you feel like you would explore leading a temporary Bible study, say that is 6 weeks long or 8 weeks long, so this isn't like a perpetual thing like a home group, so it's a smaller commitment. I would love to resource you and equip you and find an opportunity for you to do that. Personal plug, I can really only plug things that are under me. So confession, these are all my stuff. If you fellas would be interested in exploring the men's ministry leadership team, I'd love to have that conversation with you because we get to do some really cool stuff. And then finally, a teaching team. If you, kind of like the prayer ministry team, various things that have a teaching component to it. we could get you some training and some equipping and some really practical opportunities. For some reason, teaching is often something that's so guarded. If you're like an up-and-coming teacher, it can be hard to get an opportunity to teach. So I'd like to share with you an opportunities to teach if you're interested. All right, even I've lost my way in this packet. There's another okay. Discipleship. You're telling me where to go?
Yeah.
My Village Ministries. Yes. So, our church in the fall will be launching a new ministry where we work with expectant mothers who would like to have the baby, but don't feel they have the community or the resources tangibly to raise the baby. So we come alongside them and help them with that process. And we do everything from throwing them a baby shower to driving them to appointments till they need it, to hosting their other kids when they go to the hospital. If you're a single mom and you have nowhere for your kids to go, when you go to the hospital, your kids get automatically put in the foster care system, which is exactly why this ministry exists. It's to create another opportunity to prevent unnecessary foster placements. There are teams you can be a part of for each of these things, but we also could use a team leader for each of these things. So that's why after most opportunities it says leader afterwards. Grocery giveaway. For an outreach to be mature, in my mind, it's always moving towards autonomy. It's moving away from dependence upon the pastor and towards us. And so the grocery giveaway is a great ministry. Carol in our class does a wonderful job overseeing so many parts of that. Like all the donations that come in every single week, Carol sorts and counts and all that kind of thing. And there's just another couple parts of the process that could be shared if you were interested in learning how to do them. Same with the nursing home Bible study. We go twice a month, but we could do more if more people came on board to lead a Bible study at a nursing home. And you could also imagine outreach opportunities at the nursing home that are currently beyond our capacity. So right now we just go and teach a Bible study, but it would be so easy to go around and get a list of little projects that need done in people's apartments, or to just go and have lunch with them and talk or visit some of the ones who don't get visits. And so if you feel like that might be in your capacity and your interest, take a look there. Alpha is starting up again in the fall soon. This is our premier ministry for people who have not yet put their faith in Jesus. And so this is a class that's in the church for people who are outside of the church, which means what we get to do is to host and to be hospitable. And so we have people who jump in as leaders of the tables just to facilitate discussion. But we also have people who offer hospitality more tangibly, such as thinking through, like a part of Alpha is like making it homey and providing a meal, because sometimes the meal is a huge draw for people. So I'm looking around the room. Chris and Denise are very involved in this outreach, and there's definitely more opportunities for other people to come along. If you have any questions about these, you can stop me or ask me after. By the way, Jericho's Light Club is an outreach that we do in Franklinton. We feed just about 80 to 100 people who are homeless and hungry a couple times a month. That back table's the Jericho's Light Club table back there. The burgers and Patricia. Goodness, but how could you get involved? There is a 5 to 10 minute devotional at the beginning of every meal. That's kind of their ticket in, right? We'll feed you, but you're at least going to hear the gospel.
Right.
And Cecil's done it before. You've done it before, but that's one, understandably, is a little bit intimidating. So, but is a need. So if you would be interested in being trained to do like a 5-minute devotional, we could help you get there. I'm listing highlights, by the way, so look at other stuff. We're getting to the end. On the back page, this is the last of the Jericho's one. I tried so hard to format this so that none of the things got broken up, and then I was like, this is not worth as much time as I'm putting into it. So there is at the very top of one of the last pages above Care Ministry. We're actually starting a free store at Jericho's. So in the past, church has been very involved at the West Side Free Store, which closed. We've been doing Jericho's for a long time now. We have so many people who are very involved, and we think that there's a gap, like we could offer more. And what we're going to try to do is to run a free store just the Friday nights that our church is there. So our church is there first Friday. So on first Friday, we're going to have a free store. And so this is going to be starting up in the fall as well. And if you'd be interested in serving there, administrating there, what it would look like is walking around with the shoppers, kind of showing them the different sizes, and then also at the end, just seeing if they have any prayer requests or just doing some small ministry to them. Also, I'll mention, this is less leadership, but hey, it's servant leadership. In the building, we're going to be taking in tons of donations. I've heard that Cecil here has 20 boxes of donations already. So during the week, we could use some help, like sorting and organizing the clothes that come in. And then finally, Care Ministry. This is something which I announced for the first time on the weekend of the 25th building anniversary, where we're expanding the ways in which we are offering care to people by bringing more of us on board. And so this is like transportation to appointments after a surgery. This is we had someone who got a shoulder surgery recently, couldn't mow their lawn, so we got someone there to mow their lawn for them. Meals after a surgery, if you're not connected with family or friends to do that for you, that sort of thing. And so after my announcement, I got pretty good teams for each of these categories. What we need now are people to lead the teams. And so that's the person who talks with the folk who's in need and then communicates that need to the team to make sure that it is met. And then the very, very last, so if you're completely lost in this chart, it is on the front side of the back page. Other. Like I said, because all I can offer is stuff that falls under my responsibility, these are mostly stuff that fall under my responsibility. And so just because you don't see something on this list that appeals to you doesn't mean that there isn't something for you. So what might be for you? Maybe you still feel like you're in a time of your life where you want to volunteer. You don't necessarily want to take on the responsibility of leading volunteers. You just want to be a volunteer. That's wonderful. All of these things which you could lead in, you could also volunteer in. Maybe you have your own idea for something that I haven't thought up. Let's chat about it. A lot of things around here were just someone's idea at some point. So let's hear it. And then finally, if there's another ministry, such as children's ministry, worship, facilities, all the stuff, I would love to hook you up with Pastor Chase or Pastor Heather or Tiffany or whomever in order to further that discussion with them. I don't want to hog all the leaders in the church under my stuff. I'm willing to share. So we're just about halfway through the class. I'm really happy with that timing going over this. So do you have any questions or clarifications or things you'd like to talk about? Again, you don't have to sign up for anything. These are just opportunities if you feel called to get in on something exciting that God is doing in our church. What I've given you, I had to give you some tangible thing in order to get in on this. And so an email will be fine, but what I find is if you send off classes without something physical, often you never hear anything back. And so this is a leadership exploration. I didn't call it an application. I don't want you to feel like you're applicants for something, but this is just like, I would like to explore this area of leadership, and I just left a couple blanks for which ones interest you. And so if you get this back to me at any time on church, leave it in my mailbox, leave it in the front mailbox, I'll reach out to you and we'll have a conversation about it. So that's the invitation at the end of this class, is an invitation to talk and to pray and to discern together if you're not quite settled. And if you are settled, we'll just be talking about how we make it happen. Does that resonate with all of you?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the projects. So you did a personal project and you did a group project. We'll talk about the personal projects first because they're probably a little simpler. I had you write after these because I once heard someone say that you don't learn from experience. You learn from reflecting on your experience. And so that's why I made you sit down after you actually did it and think a little bit about how it was and what God is teaching you. And we're going to do some reflecting tonight. So you can blame that person, whoever they were, for the extra writing after your projects. So this can be as unstructured. If we're all chatty and we have a lot to share, how are the personal projects? What'd you think? Who tried an outreach that you've absolutely never done before? We'll start there.
I went to Jericho House.
Yeah.
I hadn't done that.
Yeah.
It was personal. Yeah, it was a good personal project. And
Sure.
It was pretty neat. Get to work with Dennis and
Yeah.
Gina and Cecil over there. So then when he left, I just kind of jumped in what he was doing. So
Nice.
yeah.
Have you ever done anything like that before?
Well, I have, but
Yeah.
not in that
We
situation.
did it in pre-store.
Yeah, we did it.
Pre-store, we used to,
Yeah.
we served food there as well.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
we did Team Appalachia, and we would always
Yeah.
feed people at that, or we would try to.
Yeah.
But this was different,
Sure. What I hear from people after the first Jerichos, especially if it's someone who hasn't served like in Appalachia or places like you've done before, is just the shock that like there's that kind of need in Columbus. Like you don't need to get on an airplane and go to a third world country to be in
Yes,
very striking need,
yes.
and it's rough and raw. Like I can never promise people what Jericho's is going to be like because you don't know. It's very real people with very dark problems coming in through the door. And so it's usually both. You get the like, wow, I didn't know it was so bad, but also the, wow, I never realized that they're still just people. And you can talk to them and have a conversation with them just like they're a coworker. Did anyone else go to Jericho's for the first time or first time in a while and have something to share?
I've done it, not Jericho's
Yeah.
before. I did the downtown mission with Vineyard Columbus, the one they had on 3rd Street,
Yeah.
5th Street, something like that. And I've also done it in Sacramento and in California. So I like what they're doing. It's not real comfortable driving down there for the first time or second time, and but it was fun. They just, the big one is they just needed help.
Yeah.
There's just not enough people to take part. Clearly, if more people just picked one Friday a month, that would really, I think, ease up some of the stuff. But Cecil was there when I was there as well.
Yeah.
And I think he lives there. I will say I was just kind of like thrown in. They had like an orientation, but I couldn't. They said you need to be there like 4:30 or 6:30. I couldn't do 4:30. I can't get there that early.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
that was a problem because they're like,
You didn't know
"We
what
have
was going
instructions
on."
here, but for right now you can. So I don't even remember when I left because we had to clean the whole place. And it was like 9 o'clock or something like that by the time I got out of there, maybe later.
Yeah, that's pretty typical for cleanup, right, Dennis? 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
9:30.
Yeah. 9:30 when there's not people to help. Yeah. I'm going to write that down, though. So your feedback is helpful, especially people who do an outreach for the first time. Anyone else want to share about Jericho's, or should we jump to another outreach?
I will say you don't have to go just on the Friday night that the Vineyard goes, because there is some churches, you guys may know the name, the lady that they bring the food, they bring no one to serve it.
Yeah.
So they can use other people whether Friday and Saturday nights throughout the month.
Actually, in my opinion, any Friday or Saturday would be great. There's times you got a lot of people, and other times there's only 4 or 5 people, and 4 or 5 people, it's very hard to serve that many people.
Yeah. Yeah. Denise?
I just want to piggyback on what he said, which I don't go all the time, but I do go a lot. What it does when there's more people, it allows ministry to be done versus just serving.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it gives opportunity for prayer and personal interactions.
That's the truth. Absolutely. Yep.
And if you don't wanna serve them, like, you could go either way, you could serve them food, or you could go pray for people, cause they need prayer too, you know what I mean? You could go either way with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where is it? Or you can do both.
It's on, Town Street.
Town Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just a note for like to prepare new volunteers, I didn't know you couldn't wear tank tops.
Oh. Yeah.
It was, like when I went before, it was December, and so I don't know if maybe they said that and it just went
It was
over my head because it was December.
Probably very hot.
But
yeah.
it was hot when I went, so Royal had to give me a shirt.
Okay. Thank you.
That and putting your hair up too.
For the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I went to the mission for Vineyard Columbus, we're talking about 30 and 40 volunteers at a time showing up because you're feeding off of a church of 9,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, only so many people can cook pancakes or whatever it was, and so the rest of us were like, go find somebody to pray with.
Yeah.
That was most of us did was, just assisting people coming through the door. Yeah, I think there were 6 when I went, and yeah, there wasn't really enough people to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay, so I can relate this. One of the roles that I ask you to consider in here is a leader of the people serving at Jericho's. So, someone to welcome new people, to offer to walk them to their car or from their car, and to give them a quick rundown of the kitchen and how it all works before they get thrown all in. If there isn't someone there who has that leadership responsibility, like Chris, sometimes you just get swept up. And so that's a great example of how these roles are just trying to help us do better at things that we're already doing. Okay, let's jump to another one so we can get to the group projects. So I know a handful of you went to the Love Your Neighbor outreaches. Tell me a little bit about what that was like, whether that was something you were comfortable with, what your takeaways were.
I would say don't have the bigger guys with beards be inviting people over to the ice cream. It's a little put-offish.
Was there?
So, younger people or the women inviting people, hey, we've got ice cream, we've got drinks, we've got stuff, and pray for you, invite you to church, all that stuff. So be more mindful of who's actually going out and the people walking by. And I know when I went, there were a lot more volunteers than there were people being served. And so there was a lot of good conversation, fellowship happening underneath the awning as well.
Yeah, that's good. So something he noticed was a lot of volunteers, but at a park it's hit or miss, people cycle through, but there's often not a lot. A great leadership opportunity, which I would love if the Lord raised up some people to do, is to have more teams go to different parks all on the same night. So he worked out a really efficient system these 2 times of going to a park, setting up the coolers, inviting people over, giving away the stuff. There's no reason we couldn't do that at 3 parks at the same time in one night. We just need people to lead it. So I'll put that bug on in there. Any other outreaches you'd like to reflect on? I want to have plenty of time to hear about your group projects. And specifically, if there's anything you felt like you learned as a leader or as a servant by trying something new?
I did the Bible study over at Beulah.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was. And that was, I didn't know what to expect 'cause I hadn't been there before.
Yeah.
And it was good, but I think knowing, I didn't know what my role would be.
Yeah.
Even. I did check, I'm not expected to give the Bible study, which that's good, but just having a better idea of what to expect.
Yeah.
Going into that would be good, but I got the Bible study itself was really, I thought, really well delivered to meet all the people that were there in the variety of educational background or develop, cognitively where they were at.
Sure. Yeah.
And there was enough activity to keep people interested. I thought that was really good.
Yeah. Denise and I talked afterwards. It's a difficult field of ministry because you have to have a message that, respects these folks as capable adults, but is also accessible to some who have very real memory challenges. And it's not the most interactive study. You can throw your questions out there and just have a quiet room. And so finding the right questions to get them talking and get them reflecting. So it matters, though. It's worth spending the time to figure it out because they are worth it. And so if you would I'm not going to keep inviting. You could be a part of it.
And it's
Okay.
not silly, but just being able to be an extra set of hands to help some of the people get back to the room so they're not just waiting.
Yeah.
It gives a little more dignity to them as well.
And another second with them to as you walk them back to their rooms. Yeah. You walk.
I went with you that day.
Yeah.
And we did our group project there as well. So that day I had met with the activities director afterwards to talk about that. And I mentioned that I would be interested in just going and visiting people and bringing my dog and letting people love on her and for love on them. And she was so glad because she had said, we just talked about this today, that we need people who will go visit people in their rooms who don't get out and don't get the contact and the emotional support. And I said, even coming in and giving somebody a hand massage or reading them scripture or using a nice smelling lotion. And she was like, we were just talking about that today, that we really need that. So that one-on-one contact and support is really important.
Yes. That's wonderful.
When my mom had surgery in Texas and they put her in a home, I had to go down there virtually every day. And it was amazing how many times I got caught in the hallway. Somebody was needing help, couldn't get through the door, I need an extra sugar for my coffee, just whatever it was, there was always something there. Part of it is I move fast and I look like I work there, so I'm getting tabbed a lot. But it was just one of those things where it's I could have easily spent all day there.
Yeah.
There would have been no shortage of people to talk to or to help or anything. And,
yes.
And I think part of it is, a lot of those places tend to hire people who are developmentally disabled. They get some sort of a stipend, they put them in the kitchen staff, and they have a hard time communicating with anybody.
Yeah.
You kind of have to have an intermediary to say, we're out of sugar, do you have more sugar? Oh yeah, we have more sugar. It was sitting there, but they would just not look at it until somebody says something.
Sure.
So sometimes just being that extra set of eyes to be able to communicate to staff. Did you know that's out of toilet paper? Did you know this is out of soap? Or where are the cups? And,
And those two examples, what Alicia and what Chris shared, is exactly the kind of autonomy and dreaming that I'm trying to stir up and trying to empower. If you go to a ministry and you see a need, we can meet it. We can do something about it. And I think that's the beauty of how God has been calling and equipping each of us. So that was the purpose of the personal project, to expand your breadth of experience at the church, try something that you might not have tried before, but also test the waters and see if that's an area that God might be calling you to volunteer or to lead at longer term. let's shift to the group project. And I kind of want to hear from all the groups. And so we'll just start here. And would you like to share what you did and how it went?
Yeah, so we first had an idea of let's gather a bunch of clothes and donate it. And we thought, let's do Jericho's, because Cecil knew that they were gonna be doing clothing stuff, at least have done a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they said they're not taking that much clothes. And so we're like, well, let's still just go.
Yeah.
And we'll just get cases of water. And Denise said she'd get these little gospel things from where you're volunteering. And we prayed for people. I played music, and it was just an amazing. Like, we just had a tent set up right outside of Jericho's, so that people stepping out to smoke cigarettes or just walking up. We were doing, I was just playing some music, and Gage said he noticed this family of kids that were just wild and acting out, and then I just started playing, and they just calmed down, and it was very, like, wow, that's cool. And then Denise and Cecil were praying for people. I know Cecil prayed for people.
Yeah,
It was good. Gage was praying for people. Like, everybody was coming up like, what are you guys doing? What's going on over here? So it was a really good time.
Was that?
We've been going to Jericho about 2.5 years. But that's the first time that I'm aware of anybody doing that. And I thought it was great.
Great idea.
It was wonderful.
Do it again.
I mean, a lot of people was touched by the music
Good.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and if they don't want to go listen to sometimes they step out because they don't want to listen to the message.
There's got 'em. We're outside too.
Did you play an instrument or did you have a?
I played guitar and sang.
Okay, yeah, okay.
But I mean, we did it upstairs. I think you played downstairs before where they're eating.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Worship leader. Where to next? Some group wants it.
We went to Aldi's.
Okay, tell me about it.
And took a roll of quarters, Janet Regal, Chris, and John and I, and we wanted to bless people with having a cart ready for them when they came up.
Yeah.
And we found that the day we went, it was like 10:30 in the morning, there were a lot of older folks, and a lot of people with kids, children. So we were helping them, especially the ones with the kids, we'd follow them out to their car.
Wow.
Take the cart to them.
Chris started doing that. We were like, yeah, that's a good idea, because the ones with the kids, they didn't want to have to bring the cart back.
Oh yeah.
So we started doing a lot of that on
And the older
Chris's
people as
cue.
well.
Nice.
Yeah. So they seemed, and we had the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
John took
I gave out about, I
stack
don't
of
know,
cards.
30, 40 business cards for the
Yeah.
church.
All right.
Yeah. Talked to a lot of people, invite them to church.
Yeah.
And then a lot of folks already went to church, but I think we still invited them
Right.
to come here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was good. So met a lot of nice people. And then when we left, I had to chuckle because we had stuck quarters in so many carts that were sitting in that little area there that, they're going to keep using those
Right.
all day long
They're probably
probably.
still there.
Right.
So that was fun.
That was a neat idea.
It was good.
Our group went, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, where's it?
It was 3 of us, and
Yeah.
we went to Rick and Sherry.
Yes.
And it was Rick who made the contact because he had known Alita before, and he had visited her, and she was in a nursing home.
Yeah.
And she met us at the door, sort of, and then we went into a smaller room. Sherry brought cookies, and Rick brought a couple of cards, playing cards. They were games, and Rick opened with a word of prayer, and then we just sort of asked her not probing questions, but just kind of, tell me about your life for a little bit, or just whatever you want to share. And she seemed eager to share her family, and she had pictures of I don't know if it was a grandchild, let's say it's a grandchild, and and that seemed to bring her a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And she asked us some questions. I don't know specifically, but anyway, just to kind of get to know who we were as well.
Yeah.
And then we played the game. The game was so much fun, and Rick had he knew her ahead of time.
Yeah.
And so he was able to just say some things that we wouldn't ordinarily have known because he knew her.
Yeah.
And then I think we served the cookies, and Rick prayed, and that was it.
That's great.
Now that was my first time. It's been years since I've gone to a nursing home.
Yeah.
And so the experience was good. Personally, I did not like the fact that it was so far away from me.
Yeah.
And that the driving, it was in Hilliard.
Yeah.
And I live, anyway, that's not the point. It was just a little further than I would have appreciated.
Sure.
So that wasn't, so the time of day makes a difference for me. But the experience itself was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and could see that we made a difference.
Yeah.
And she made a difference to me. Just her sharing her family, and the way she shared information about her family was just so nice. And I don't think we always get the opportunity to see my granddaughter,
She wanted to share.
and so yes, to share
Is
about
this
them.
Alita that used to come
Alita
here
Hirsch?
and she lost?
Yeah, she lost
had
both
her
legs.
She lost her legs.
Yeah,
Is that the Alita?
they used to bring her in
I
sometimes.
know she's
that
in
was
a
under the
wheelchair. I
blanket.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's who it is.
Okay, it
And
might
she's up here at Hilliard.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Simon and Darby and
Yeah,
Rome
she used to
Hilliard
go
Road.
Yes.
there, and
Yeah.
it probably made her feel good that people from
Yeah.
there came to
That
see her.
is exactly the purpose of this ministry.
Yes.
And since then, Rick, one of the team members not here tonight, is starting a ministry to the homebound.
Yes, right.
Because
Oh, that's
Alita
neat.
already needs another visit.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
Yes.
the
sure she
thing.
does.
Yes.
She's
so-
sweet. She's
yeah.
very sweet.
She was.
We-
I
Yeah.
know.
I didn't
We know
even
her.
notice whether she was in a
Yeah.
wheelchair, but I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
she went here a long time.
Okay. That's
Rick's-
how he knew her then. Okay.
Rick's
And Rick's-
ministry isn't a
I'm sorry.
ministry until more people do it.
Right,
And so
right.
I nestled that in there in your packets. And so if that one catches your ear, it is to be found in there.
He said the reason he was interested in starting it was because a couple of years ago he had heart surgery, open heart surgery,
Yeah.
and nobody from the church came to see him.
Right, yeah.
But he also said he didn't reach out to the church either.
Yeah.
So, and so just how that made him feel, because he had always served and good, and people knew him.
Sure.
And then, I'm recovering and nobody's, praying for me. So,
I get
so
it.
that's, but that was so neat. He's not bitter. He just says, no, I want to start it because this is how I felt.
That's
and
wonderful.
I thought, oh my gosh, Rick, you're just awesome. So
That's great.
yeah.
That's pretty neat.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
I like what you guys did.
Where's another group?
Yeah.
That's neat.
Back
Yeah,
here?
thank you.
Is this a group?
You are.
All right, I'm coming.
Well, we also visited a couple of ladies that one needed assistance with an appliance, and Art and I took care of that. We had different functions, and Art was the direction man. And, he did all of the speaking, so
All the thinking.
all the thinking.
Right.
I was manual labor,
Yes.
so it worked out. And we also visited a lady in Grove City, Terry, and we took her food. And
No, that was, you visited.
That was Pat.
We visited.
I said also. This is also means
Also.
other than.
Yeah, sorry, we made a mistake.
Okay. Anyway, Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll let you continue.
Me?
Yeah.
Me? So the whole group, all of us went and visited Pat Plummer, who attends our church.
Yeah.
And she was just thrilled to have us there because she lives alone.
Yeah.
And she's very lonely.
Yeah.
And so we took a meal to her that she would have later, except we did take pie, and we all had some pie and ice cream.
Of course.
But we just sat and chatted with her, and for about an hour and a half, and yeah, it was.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's as simple
Any
as
more?
I just enjoyed working with all these people. I
That's
mean,
right.
it was just like,
Get to know.
we talked, we prayed. Everyone said what they wanted to do, and it was just great. And I think Pat was just overwhelmed with all of it, so, yeah, she really loved it.
Oh, and we also gave them rides.
Yes,
Oh,
we
okay.
gave rides.
Yes, for the Saturday night, 25th.
That is
Yes.
wonderful.
Tom and I picked up Pat
Yeah.
because she thought it would be dark
Yeah.
when it was time to go home, and she can't drive at night.
Yeah.
And she's just right, down the road from us. And then you
We
guys,
picked up Terry.
they went and picked up Terry
That's
and brought
fantastic.
her and took him home. So yeah.
I really like that. Yeah. I like that. Someone flag me down. Are you enough of a group? Okay.
This is our group. We went to the nursing home and brought ice cream sandwiches
Oh, nice.
and met people in the hallways and the lobbies and the cafeteria, talked to staff, and it was really sweet because staff would kind of be like, come over into this room, and this person would really love it. And
Yeah.
being able to go in and offered people a lot of prayer, and some people didn't want ice cream, but they wanted prayer. And some people, you said, I asked if they wanted prayer, and they were like, no, and then they were like, yes, and then they just cried. It was just like, you could tell that they really appreciated, and family members that were there visiting and giving them ice cream, and they were so glad that we were there visiting, and it was just really powerful. And we asked if the staff wanted prayer, and I was really surprised. I did not think that they would say yes, and they did.
I'm sure they did.
And then it was just really beautiful because I would pray a lot, and they would just, it was like this prayer line. Like my eyes would close and I'd start to pray, and I'd feel a hand on my shoulder. And then I found out, okay, but then it was like a hand on another shoulder, and then a hand on my shoulder. And just that we were joining together in prayer, and just seeing even the staff appreciate us being there, and the residents really loving it. And it was really beautiful.
That's incredible.
So.
And
Martin, yeah.
And I was very impressed when we asked someone if we can pray for them.
Yeah.
And it was really surprised that they accept.
Yes.
They just accept. And
Yeah.
we find the man. We ask him, can we pray for you? He said, no.
Yeah.
I want to sing for you.
Wow, how about that?
And to sing, yes.
It was
we
Rex.
sang song. It was
I
very,
can
very
only
amazing.
imagine.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes,
That's his
okay.
prayer.
Yeah.
Right.
The worst I've ever got when asking someone if they'd like prayer is no thank you. It's the safest question. No one is offended by that question. But when they say yes, you never know what God is about to do.
Yeah.
All right, this side of the room, I'm coming over here. Yes, I've seen, yeah.
First of all, real quick comment on Jericho's. It's hot out there in the evenings. They don't have an ice machine that I noticed. And it was amazing how many people were just hoping to get a cold drink.
Yeah.
And we ran out of cold drinks really quickly. And I felt really embarrassed. It's like, I could have brought a couple bags of ice in a cooler. I would have brought a whole dang thing of water and covered it in ice.
Yeah, there's drinks and then there's cold drinks.
Yeah, and when you're walking around out, it's one of those dumb things. If you've never lived it and you don't go down there, you don't think about the fact they're walking out here.
Yeah.
They don't have air conditioning. Some of them don't even have air conditioning in their homes. Flip side, when you get to the wintertime, they need something warm because they are cold all the way down, and it's like, oh, you know, that's something that maybe that could be planned for, to like make sure that we show up with a cooler of ice, or make sure we've got extra hot chocolate, or whatever it is, to
You bet.
see one of those simple needs.
Yeah.
You want to have some real fun sometime, just start out on a Saturday morning with rooms full of coffee, hot chocolate, and donuts, and just hit the alleys. And
That'll go.
yeah, it does. It goes.
Sure does.
It sure goes. And it's amazing. Do it on a holiday.
Right.
Do it on holiday sometime. Do Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, when everybody's, and they're just out there, and yeah.
Yeah. No doubt.
Feedback is,
Well, we as a group, we were going to go to a couple of the fire departments and just take them a fruit tray.
Yeah.
Nobody makes fruit trays anymore. So unless you have a caterer, my caterer never called back. So, and with traveling, we couldn't do this. So we had to come up with something real quick. We ended up going to the dog park, Breck Park here, and we took a cooler full of ice and waters, and some icy pops.
Nice.
And these guys had some kits already made, and we just talked to people as they were going in and out with their dogs, and just made some contacts, and thought it went pretty well, except it ended up being a lot cooler that night than it had been. It dropped like 15 degrees. Ice pops weren't quite as popular as I think we were hoping.
Oh man.
The highlight of my night.
Yeah.
The highlight of my night that night was there was a gal, she was probably in her 20s, and she was leaving, and she said that she had actually come visit our church 2 weeks prior all by herself, young gal. She hadn't made it back or whatever, and I think she was just so shocked that we were there. She's just like, I can't believe you're at my dog park. And so it touched my heart, because I just, like we had to like switch gears real fast and like plan this, and I just felt like it was all God, and that the lengths he would go to for one person. I mean, we talked to other people, but that was the highlight for me.
There was a guy that was there probably about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And his dog was all over us, all over the table. Sweet. If you like dogs, that is a great way to, but the people are jerks, the dogs are great. So you'll find a way. But no, it was just really interesting to see, you never know person to person.
Yeah.
Who's going to be able to communicate with what. You just take it as it comes.
Sure. And Megan's point is like you never know at what point in your outreach you'll figure out like, oh, it was just for them, like if nothing else. Best is your volunteer.
Well, we went to a nursing home also. It's actually a nursing home that Tiffany has been going to kind of regularly. And our experience was we put together little blessing bags, like crossword puzzles and snacks and things like that, and then we just went around to the rooms and just passed them out, and just shared that God loves them, and we just wanted to bless them. So one thing that I got out of it is you just don't know how big of an impact a small gesture has on people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who was there on the 25th, or just has it burned into their muscle memory? Pastor Tom's line. Yeah. What is the line?
Not
from
churches
from
in
here.
here.
From here.
Not either.
Not in here, from here.
Okay, yeah, it's this is just a simple way to show the love of Jesus, a tangible way to show that Jesus loves you. That's what I was thinking. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The simple gesture.
We just want to show you God's love in a practical way.
We just want to show you God's love in a practical way. There it is. I'm not a Tom disciple, so I don't know.
He had a lot of one-liners.
Yeah. There it is. Am I forgetting any groups? Did I skip?
Ours.
Yeah, just your. No,
okay, I want to talk.
Go ahead.
If you get me after, better than before. Okay. After class. These guys are varsity, and I've never done it before.
Okay.
Patricia and I've been married 7 years. We're both widows. She's been doing it all my life, probably as long as hers. But I haven't, and I did. And that was the first time. We went to a park, just the four of us. They said, we're going to go pass out hot dogs to the homeless over at this park. I'm like, that can't be hard. You know, I can pass out hot dogs to anybody. But when we got there, and I didn't know what to expect. Wasn't that, I don't want to make this big, there wasn't a whole lot of people. It was really hot. But
98.
yeah, it was a warm day in the park. But I want to say that I noticed that the people they talked to, everybody that we talked to that came knew Jesus. But they didn't hear Jesus. They didn't have Jesus. But you speak to them about Jesus, it's like, yeah, I used to do this in the church. You know, I don't remember any of them saying, I've never known him, tell me about him. They all knew something, but was so far away from it that they need that. You're not planting a seed, you're kind of watering the plant maybe. But what I noticed is when we got there, these guys like went into like, okay, ready, break. And they're doing this, and I'm like, what do you want me to do? You know, I got to pass out hot dogs. And when we got there, it was kind of neat / weird that the shelter house we set up in, now you have to get the time frame. It was 5:30 when we got there. And these people started coming and said, we reserved the shelter house. And we got it from 4 to 6. And you guys need to leave. And so they're just there, and by 5:45, you know, they're not even set up and doing anything. So I'm like, well, don't get an attitude. They only got 15 minutes, but they stayed and found out it was a grief party, basically a celebrate. I don't know if you call it a celebration of life, but the lady's son had committed suicide, and it was his anniversary, and they were coming there for a celebration. And people just happened to be there to pray for them, and with them too. And they said, well, you guys can move down here and do your stuff. And you know, I just was moved by it because I'm kind of like the innocent bystander, you know, trying to just fill in so I didn't pray with anybody, but there was really not enough to separate on. But they did give out prayer. I mean, I stood in a circle with them and all, but it is a real good learning experience. And probably if it wasn't for being here, you know, I would have never been over there either because it was homework. So anyway,
the last word of the class is going to be endorsement for homework.
And I'm done.
And he went to Jericho's too.
And that was the individual. That's right. Yeah.
You know, she's done it so much, and you know, it's not football season, so I stayed home and watched Friday night high school ball, right?
That's right.
So that's my excuse for staying home. It's like,
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
Games,
So-
not
And
even
it's
scrimmages
homework.
yet.
Yeah.
And
It was
homework.
So I found him at Royal.
If you're met, there you go. Well, one more time for everybody. And we're going to pray for each other. If you feel like you need prayer, we'd like to pray for you. So just throw up your hand, and other people in this room, we're all leaders. You can pray. And so we'll make sure that everyone who wants prayer gets prayer. What kinds of things would you want prayer for? You might want prayer for God unlocking this, like the power of His Spirit in your life, just lighting up your gifts and sending you out. You might want prayer for more clarity. Maybe you are leaving as confused as you started, and you just need to keep listening to God to hear where is next. We would love to pray for you. If you have your idea and you just want blessing and you want prayer that God would be in it and work through it, we would love to pray for you. And if you're already doing something, I know most of you are already doing lots of things. And so if you would like prayer for just continued faithfulness and power and unction on what you're currently doing, we would love to pray for you too. And that's just a couple of examples. And so we're going to start praying now. The other thing